Right, this is my second vlog, and I'm probably going to do it on. Well, I'm going to do it on two subjects. I've kind of got a few questions. Actually, I got a load of responses from my first video, which is actually pretty cool. I wasn't expecting that, and thanks. It means a lot. But this one's going to be on something that's not happening personally to me, but something that I've experienced before and kind of experiencing now with a friend of mine. Is moving on from a long-term relationship and how you deal with it, and a bit of advice. And the second one will be self-esteem and self-confidence, gradually building that back up from a relationship. I've been in a few relationships where it's hit hard after, and it took me a long time to move on, so to speak. It's kind of like a lot of self-evaluating again to kind of find out who you are as a person, really, because it knocks you for six. I mean, it blew the wind out of me for ages with my last long relationship, and it's kind of a lot to deal with. There's so many different things going on. I mean, I know from my experience, missing them was like the hardest part. Everything you see was kind of like a reminder of them. I know it sounds silly, but for example, a program you never really watched before, and you watched it with them, and then you kind of enjoyed it, and then it become those little things you do where they come round, or you go around theirs every certain day this program's on. Just seeing that after you've been in a relationship, it puts a down on your mood, because you think, oh damn, I used to do that. I used to watch that of her or him in a girl's case. And little things like that always knock you back 2 steps, 1 step forward, 2 steps back kind of thing. So, and with a friend of mine, is doing different things to get over this sort of phase. I've done it too. I'm sure other people have. You drink. I smoked weed as to get myself away from it. And it's kind of the wrong end of the stick to be going to or to do. It messes with your head. It makes things worse. It's not good. It's you're digging yourself a hole, and it's not worth it. And people will probably think that there's probably people out in the world now, people that are listening to this or watching it, that are going through the same thing, trying to move on from somebody. And there's little things that kind of stop them, and it's kind of hard because everybody's situation is different, but you've kind of just got to be yourself. The only way you're going to get through it is you, and in that and here, it's not anybody else's opinion or somebody else that's going to come along and temporarily fix the situation. Like, you get people that rebounds them. You have a rebound because you think, oh, this will be fine, this will get me over it. It turns out it doesn't. It makes it worse. It makes you realise that you actually generally miss that person you're trying to get over. So, there's other things as well, like people do to try and get over things. And, moving on isn't forgetting, really. And there's so many different factors that remind you of people and kind of struggle to find you again as a person, really, because in my past relationship I put so much of me in and never really thought about what happens to me. If you care for somebody, you're there for them, and you want to put your energy to them, because they kind of in your mind at the time they deserve it. That's what you want to do. You want to be with them and you make them happy. You don't want to just be some douchebag that thinks about himself or herself all the time. You want to make them happy. That's kind of the whole idea of a relationship. And trying to get that back, that self of power for you, takes a long time. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen when you find somebody else to have sex with to get things out of your mind. There's a saying, to get over somebody, you get under somebody. It's not true. I've heard stories from my friends and stuff, and it makes things worse, because it's kind of like you look easy then, and easy to get to, and you look, to me it looks weak that you use somebody else, or you drink and then you only talk to girls, or you only talk to this girl or a guy when you're drunk. It's kind of a stupid excuse that every person has used. It's textbook. And I kind of, if people listen to this, I kind of don't want people to think, oh my god, your life's bad, like oh my god, like I'm not going through this, you must be crazy. But it happens, it happens all the time. So trying to get you back and start getting out of thinking of somebody else and start thinking about you. You know, most importantly, people who you love are important, and they come high on the list in your life of importance, but you as a person is the most important. And for me, I never think about myself first. Contradiction, I know, but I don't. I put my family first, and yeah, I may have been a douchebag in relationships and stuff, and I'm not the perfect person, nobody is, you know, I'm not claiming to be, but you've kind of got to put yourself first after a relationship to move on, to start doing things for yourself, or, you know, not having to go to and ask somebody to do something. There's so many relationships I know where he or she asked if they can go out with their friends. I mean, friends come first before any relationship in my eyes. You know, in the past I have neglected my friends because I wanted a relationship to work, so I put a lot of time into it. I regret it a little bit now because friends come first. You know, it's kind of like you can choose who your friends are, if you know what I mean. It's, to me anyway, that's what's most important. You know, I wouldn't put somebody first before people that have been there my whole life and gave me advice for my whole life and have been there, you know, ups and downs and all that. And yeah, what I'm really trying to say is you know, moving on's a hard process. It can only be done by you. It can't be done by somebody else or going to somebody else, like I said, to get over somebody. You know, it's all you. Don't use substances and stuff to think it's working, because it isn't. It just makes you worse. And you've really got to find like strength in your head, in your head, in your head and in your heart to push forward. And you know, obviously you're going to get days where you're going to be down and stuff, but that's life. That happens, and you learn from it. You adapt to it, and you take that part of what you've learned and kind of build on it and make that a better person of yourself, if that makes any sense. You know, and it's hard when you see stuff like people saying stuff about you and that, but it's sticks and stones, really. You know, people are going to say stuff about you that, oh, you're a douchebag boyfriend, or you're a douchebag girlfriend, or you treat girls or guys really bad. You know, I've seen it, but you know, it's nothing. It's nothing, because all you've really got to think about is how good the moment was when you was with that person, and not what's it going to be like without them. Because, you know, what was important is the experience you had from it, and just think of the good sides. I try not to think negative all the time, just think positive, stay in a good frame of mind, and that kind of helped me get over my relationships. Not over them, like I said, moving on isn't forgetting, but getting over the fact that I'm upset about it, and kind of becoming, you know, like my tattoo says, I guess I had to go to that place to get to this one. You know, you've been through that stage of your life in a relationship, and you've done that, and you've got good from it and some bad from it, but mostly the good, and you move on. You know, you do move on. You're never stuck thinking of that one person. You do move on. And like my mum, she was married to my dad for 20 years, I think. Shows how much I know. I wasn't born then. But and it took her 10 years to finally commit to somebody. She wasn't with anybody else, and it took her 10 years to finally think about loving somebody, really. And she's a brilliant person from it. I mean, she's my best friend. I go to her to anything. I'm really close with my mum, like really, really close. Like I said, I haven't had my dad around, so I've had my sister and my mum. And yeah, again, there's things, it's embarrassing, but I'm a proper mummy's boy because of it. If there's anything wrong you know, anything at all. Like if I spent all my money, you know, on stupid things like I do, like hats, shoes. If I spend stupid things and I'm a bit tight for cash, my mum's hasn't got a load of money, but you know, she'll go out of her way to help me, and it's been like that all the time. And you know, for her moving on 10 years to where she is now, and you know, she's been in a relationship with my stepdad for quite some time. You know, good 5, 6, more than that years. You know, that's a good example of moving on. You know, when you're married to somebody, you like, really, our relationships with people are kind of nothing compared to being married to somebody and getting a house and having kids and being together for 20 odd years. You know, so if you think you've got it bad, people get it worse, but they move on and they adapt from it. And it took my mum so long, and with my relationships, it took me a long time to get over. Long relationships, it took me a while to get over it, and you know, I did different things. I wrote, I listened to music, went out with my friends, I go running 3 times a day. 3 times a day? I wished. 3 times a week still. And you get into that routine and you do things to take your mind off it, and it works. And that kind of leads on to self-confidence, really, and like self-esteem. You lose confidence when you've been shattered from a strong bond with somebody. I have personally, and I'm sure other people have as well. And self-confidence kind of comes from you again. You know, all of it's kind of your energy that you've got to put into it to get over someone or something. And you kind of got to... Self-esteem's hard, especially in this day and age where, you know, the simple thing for me, like, oh my god, your hair's really curly, or oh my god, you know, oh my god, you've got a spot on your nose, or oh, you look really fat now, you've put on loads of weight, or, you know, silly things. Saying that to somebody that's got low self-esteem and confidence, it hurts them, you know, it makes them worse. And when I see people, like, you know, we've all done it, we've all said things where you just thought, oh, no thanks, she looks a bit rough. Like, you know, you see girls, I don't get it why girls have tons of makeup, fake eyelashes, massive hair, you know, fake boobs. They look like a Barbie doll, ridiculous and stupid, to get attention or to make themselves feel better. You know, everybody does it. Everyone thinks like that. It's just life. Fortunately, it's life. But, you know, it's not insecurity. It's insecure and self-confidence and self-esteem is so different. You know, I'm not insecure, but I do get self-conscious, and I guess a lot of people do. You know, take it as you may, but you know, self-confidence only going to come from you. Take up a sport, take up a hobby. You know, spend some cash that you've earned from work, or you know, wherever you've got it from, to make yourself look pretty. You know, buy some shoes, buy a hat, get your hair cut, you know, go gym, stop eating crap, eat healthy food, you know, and sleep more. All these things kind of build you up to be a better person regardless of what's happened, of what's gone on. You know, it's all about building yourself back up again, and it makes you a stronger person. I'm scared of relationships now, I really, really am. Because of what's gone on, not because the people I've been with have been bad people, but just because of that, so much pressure, so much stress when things go wrong, and you want it to work so hard to make it right. You know, it's made me a stronger person coming from that, and you know, not ready for a relationship yet, but still building myself up. Relationships are a hard thing to think about, and commitment's easy for me. Like, I've never cheated on anybody. I've been, like, someone said I have, you know, made lies. I haven't. I never would, ever. I'm so against it. So against it. If I'm with somebody, I'm with them. I might look at other girls. You know, people say, oh, you can look but don't touch, you know, window shopping and all that stuff. You know, I didn't really look. You know, I put my attention to them because, you know, that's what you're meant to do. And you don't, it's kind of hard to explain it if you haven't been through it, and I know other people have, I'm sure they have, but coming from a strong commitment to somebody to becoming yourself is kind of the challenge, and finding that new you again, really. And like I said, building it back up and getting into a routine of doing stuff and trying to take your mind off it and not going off the rails. and doing stuff that you think temporarily are fixing the situation, or you're just temporarily fixing you, and it isn't, it's making it worse. So that's kind of like what I'm trying to say is really, is there's going to be things in life that are going to knock you down, you know, tear you to pieces really, emotionally and physically. Like I didn't want to go out after a long relationship. I wasn't ready for it. And I hated it because I love going out, you know, for walks, for running. There's a country bit near kind of where I live, because in England there's loads of fields, and apparently so. And you know, I love just going for a walk. I put my iPod in, I go for a walk. It's all them little things help, and it's what I'm trying to like get people to kind of do really, you know, instead of sitting indoors and looking at all the four walls, and going on the computer and going on Tumblr, and you know, you see people post stuff like a lot of things about themselves, and like, oh, I can't get over this person, or you know, I don't know what to do, or I feel helpless and stuff like that. You won't get help if you don't help yourself. Done. That's it. You're not going to get anywhere without helping yourself first. You come first before anything else in a situation like this or like that. So yeah, that's that rant done. I'm sorry it was really, really long and really long-winded. I wasn't too sure what to think about. If it didn't make sense, it's just all there at the in the brain for a while. If there's any questions or anything, just message me on Tumblr if you've got me on Tumblr. If you haven't, like, message me on, if you see this on YouTube, which you might not. You know, any feedback would be really, really good as well. Like constructive criticism would be cool. You know, and just kind of like, don't let things get you down so much, and build yourself up again. And you eventually, over time, you become you again. You find yourself, and then you know, maybe from then on you can meet new people and you get the confidence to talk to girls or guys. You know, and it's kind of like becoming you again. And I think that's the most important thing. If you're not happy with yourself, how can other people be happy with you? You know. But that's that done. I'm going to do some more videos soon. Some people will message me about what to talk about next, you know, anything I do, interests and stuff, or something like this again. But yeah, thanks for watching again. I really, really do appreciate it. Sorry about the lighting, it's a bit dark, and I'm doing it in black and white because I'm red. I'm more red than what red is from running and stuff, but still, hey, doesn't matter. Thanks again for watching. Honestly, it means a lot, and my first video got a lot of responses back, and you know, it's great. I didn't think people would watch it, so thanks a lot again, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Ka-ching.